Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sheffield Live. I'm Diallo, and this is African Voices. Last weekend, we were in Birmingham, where hundreds of Guineans across the UK were gathered in a hall to welcome the leader of the Union of Democratic Forces of Guinea, Alhaji Céllou Diallo, with his wife, Haja Aminatu Diallo. This was the second visit made by Mr. Diallo to the United Kingdom, and he received a warm welcome. Many Guineans, including those from Sheffield and Yorkshire as a whole, turned up at the event to give him a warm welcome. Mr. Diallo is currently doing a tour across Europe and later on in the United States to prepare for the 2020 general election. On that day, there were so many questions, including the rumor that is currently circulating across Guinea and other parts of the world that the current president, Alpha Condé, wants a third term. However, Mr. Diallo has promised his supporters and the Guineans as a whole that he will do all he can to stop that from happening. After the event, I spoke to Nadia Nahman, who is the spokesperson for Mr. Diallo, and also some of the Guineans who attended the event to find out what was their take on the event, and also we spoke about the current situation that is happening in Guinea. Here is a highlight of what happened on that day.
So first of all, I would like to say that I'm absolutely delighted to be here in Birmingham, the second biggest town of the UK. I have to explain a feeling of emotion, a feeling of satisfaction, because to see such a great mobilization coming from my fellow citizens, it's a feeling of joy, of happiness, of satisfaction, and I'm a little bit intimidated by the courage of the Guinean living here, and who were very mobilized in spite of all their daily life and all the complicated life they can have here in the UK. We all know that it's not easy here, but to say that they are completely committed to the victory of the UFDG gives me a great feeling of satisfaction.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time you've been to the UK with Céllou Diallo as a spokesperson.
Yeah.
So you mentioned intimidation.
Yeah.
So will you say you were surprised with the way people turned up?
Yeah, I'm very surprised indeed because of the quality of the mobilization, the quality of the organization, and the warm welcome to see a lot of people so mobilized, and a lot of people, because it's a daily struggle, it's not a question of 1 day or 2 days. People are very committed to our political party, and we don't give them anything. That is, I'm very impressed by this dimension, because I think that the Union of Democratic Forces of Guinea is the one political party when we can see a full support from the militant, and it's quite amazing.
Give us an update on what's happening in your country, i.e. Guinea, because there are rumors that the president is wanting to change the constitution in order for him to stay in office. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very important to mention that it's not because before we were talking about a real, but we have a clear ambition for the current presidency, for the current president Alpha Condé, to offer him a third mandate, which is prohibited by our constitution, because his word, his oath on the constitution is to respect this constitution, and unfortunately, very sadly, we regret the way he's acting because he's putting in danger the peace in Guinea. The peace in Guinea is threatened, not only in Guinea, in the sub-region, and we can have such a lot of dramatic consequences if he materializes this funest project. So we are very, very confident about the fact that we are facing a very important mobilization with the creation on last April of a common front for the defense of the Constitution. So it's such a huge, a tremendous consensus, and this common front includes all the political parties without any distinction, regardless of their sensibilities, all the political parties, as I mentioned, all the musical, the artistic world, all the academic world, and the civil society, which is leading this struggle. So we are very confident about the fact that Alpha Condé cannot call into question the stability in Guinea. He cannot put into question the determination of the people of Guinea to say, no, we suffered a lot, enough and is enough, and now we are going to take our lives and we are going to say, okay, you have to go now at the end of your second and last term.
As we mentioned, this is just a rumor. This has not come clearly from the president yet. So why are people kind of focusing on this, or why is the EFDJ focusing on this?
It's not a rumor at all, because a few days before, the president said that in French, "Je prends acte." I'm taking act of the will or of the consensus in the government to adopt a new constitution by referendum. This is a very clear statement, which is not ambiguous at all. So first of all, we can say that it's rumors, but now it's a tangible reality. It would like to go, and when you see a lot of people who are very close to him spending public resources, wasting public resources for the promotion of a third mandate, I think that yes, let's not be naive. It's the reality, and we are going to fight against this crazy project, because it's not about UFDJ, it's not about Céllou Diallo, it's about the people of Guinea, which since the independence is struggle to improve the quality of life, to make things better. Because when we look toward us with Senegal, these countries are moving. They are moving. There's a lot of projects in terms of health, in terms of education, and we cannot understand the fact that a very rich country as Guinea, which has a human potential, a lot of natural resources, which is at this stage of development, is not possible for us. So now I say that enough is enough. Alpha Condé should follow the example of the other West African countries like Niger, like Mauritania, who say that, okay, we are not going to jeopardize all this effort. And yes, I think that is the common trend to the West African country. The common trend is to organize peaceful, transparent election and to make democracy and rule of law a reality in our country. And why not Guinea? Why not Guinea?
Talking of West Africa here, we've seen recently in Sierra Leone, Liberia, there has been transparent election from one government to another. Do you think that's possible in Guinea?
I think that that will be possible only if the people of Guinea stand up to say, no, enough is enough. That's a very important point. We cannot count on the international community. The international community will move only if the will of the people of Guinea is expressed with determination, with strength, and without any ambiguity. That is very, very, very important to mention, because we are very alone. We are very alone. All the institutions are subordinated to Alpha Condé. The Senate is subordinated to Alpha Condé. The justice is subordinated to Alpha Condé. And maybe it's very important to mention that the Ministry of Justice resigned. That's a very important point to mention, because the Minister of Justice, Sheikh Sako, is the guardian of the Constitution. When the guardian of the Constitution said, no, I do not want to be I don't want to be implied in this process of changing our constitution.
Are you implying he resigned because of that?
So, yes, it was this purpose which was mentioned in the letter of resignation of dismissal. So that's a good thing for us. So Alpha Condé should observe what happened, what is happening in Iran, to say, okay, I fought all these decades to maintain the democracy, to implement the rule of law. So now I'm not going to call all this, all my how can I say that, all my commitment in question because of the power. So let's be confident. It won't be easy. There's a very, very long way to go because, as I mentioned, the justice is subordinated all the institutions and is using the money of the country, the money which is derived from the natural resources to pay people. So enough is enough. I'm very confident, but we can overcome only with the determination of the people of Guinea. That's the only truth we should believe in.
Let's move away from Alpha Condé for a minute. Let's talk about your party here, the EFDJ party. Do you think your party is mentally and physically ready to be in government comes 2020?
Absolutely, absolutely. My party is ready. My party is ready. Why? Because we have the leadership of Céllou Diallo, who is the only candidate to make the rule of law, the democracy, and to improve the conditions, the life, the quality of the condition of people of Guinea. That is very important. We are ready. Why are we ready? We are ready because we are a leader who believes that the only thing to save the people of Guinea is to reconcile them. Who thinks that, who has a very interesting background in terms of, actually, he's an economist. So, and it's important to mention the fact that UFDJ is the only party which is now we are working on a manifesto, because it's not about talking to say Alpha Condé didn't do anything for the country. No, we don't want to be opponent. We would like to be opponent who made a lot of propositions, a lot of proposals for the people of Guinea in terms of health, education, infrastructures, and what Guinea do we want for tomorrow? I think that.
Talking of that though, sorry to interrupt you there. Yeah. Talking of that though, your president here, Mr. Diallo, he was in power before, i.e. he was a former prime minister and he was the minister of transport. Yeah. Most people sometimes argue that these are just birds of the same feather, who has been in government before, and the time he was in government he didn't do nothing. So my point here, what kind of guarantee do you think Guineans do have here to believe Mr. Diallo that when he becomes a president he will do better?
So it's very important to mention that there has been a lot of audit which has been done to incriminate Céllou Diallo, but this kind of audit don't reveal anything of tangible. It was a very interesting point because Céllou Diallo is the only adversary who creates a lot of fear for Alpha Condé. So they did a lot of things to destabilize the party, a lot of things to put, how can I say that, to call into question his reputation. But there's no evidence that there's been a mismanagement from Céllou Diallo. That's a very important point. And it did a lot for this country. We all know that on Alpha Condé there was a kind of organization against him because he was very committed to fight against bad governance, and he did a lot of. It was not interesting for the interest of those who want to maintain their privileges. So Céllou Diallo fought against that. Is a very interesting background in terms of infrastructures. If you look at what we call le pont sur la Fatala, the bridge on the Fatala resist compared to the new infrastructures created by the current Minister of Transport. So there's a lot of beautiful things, and we cannot. It's important to mention the patriotism, It's very important to mention that Céllou Diallo is a great patriot. He really loves Guinea, and I think that the most important thing, which made I decided to join him because I was teaching in Sciences Po Paris. I had a better condition of life, a better salary, but I decided to join him because I know that he's a man who doesn't admit any injustice. And I think that it's the common ground for us. It's a common denominator of the fact to say, okay, it's important for us to have social justice, to have rule of law, to have democracy, and to make that Guinean can be equal. It's about equalities, regardless the region, regardless where you come from. It's very important for us to be in a big union, and only union can save us, because with mondialization we cannot, it's impossible for us to be divided. When we are divided, Alpha Condé will be very strong, and Alpha Condé will continue his bad governance on the ground of our division. That's why it's important for us to stand up together and to say, yeah, no, it's enough now.
Talking of that though, what can you say to critics who thinks the EFDG party is a one ethnic party, i.e. 95% of the people who are in the party are all from one community or one ethnic tribe, that is the Fulani community? You know,
this is a very common and traditional criticism which is not verified at all, because when you look at the composition of a national direction, you can see a lot of vice presidents like Fode Oussou, like Kalemoudou Yansane, like Alain Touré. And one thing is very important to mention: when you have a look at our statute, the composition of our statute, it's mentioned that we cannot put in place, we cannot implement a bureau or a federation without checking if all the natural regions are represented. So I think that it's just to destabilize, to how can I say that, to call into question our credit, and this is not verified at all.
Yes, I'm so proud, and as well as a leader of the Guinean community of Birmingham, to be chosen one of the city to host that big event. So we are so thankful to all the Guinean community in the UK, particularly to the Federal of the UK, having been choosing our city to be the host this time.
Many people turned up from across the UK. There were hundreds of people here, and we've heard what the president has promised. He's promised he will fight corruption and that kind of thing. Come 2020, do you believe he's going to be able to fulfill all those promises?
After looking all the past, because he's been a minister first, he's been a minister of transport. So what he did, he achieved at that time. We believe he will do better than what he done before. And as a Prime Minister, he did prove that he can unite the country, and also his program of society express everything on it. So equal opportunity for everybody, for all Guinean in and out of the country. They will all be equal, and everybody will benefit of the resources of Guinea.
Talking of that though, for you, what should be his priority?
His priority, I think, should be first uniting the Guinean people, because that is one of the major things which is broken the country. The society is already broken. So he needs to unite first the country, and also improve the infrastructure like road and everything, I think. But his first priority will be to unite Guinea.
Just a final one from me. What would be your message to all Guineans today across the UK?
My message to all Guineans across the UK is first to unite behind of this party, EFDG. Secondly, is to help financially and give even advice, because you can be here, but you can help back home, calling people in terms of voting, instructed them how can they vote and to help. So the party to win in 2020. That's my final message.
I think you can see how the situation went from the beginning to the end. The dynamic of the UFDG people in the UK. I think they try a lot to give a trust, but as you know, a politician is gonna fulfill his promises. Maybe, yes, because the Guinean people, I think, need this trust from him.
There were so many questions raised here regarding the priorities of the country, looking at some of the issues that are in Guinea. Some were talking about electricity, some were talking about people living in an influx manner. to go to other parts of the world. What do you think should be his priority if he becomes a president?
I think his main priority gonna be first to fight corruption. In my opinion, in Guinea, to solve the problem of the Guinean, the first is to solve the corruption side. Because the corruption is just like a cancer. It's killing all the constitution things in the government. So my opinion, I think he needs to fight corruption first.
Talking of corruption though, there is also another problem in Guinea, which is like corruption, because there are so many ethnicities in the country. But having said that, they're not united. And many people are saying that is a time bomb. What's your take on that?
As he said, he's going to fight hard to make all Guineans be one, to unite all Guineans. I think he got a big job to do in his mandate, and I believe if he's been elected in 2020 to become a president, I trust him a bit. But as you know, a politician is hard to trust. But at the moment, his first priority to say he's going to fight that to unite all Guinean people.
In terms of the body language, from what you've seen here, what will you say, the body language, what was it like to you?
I think he believes himself. He's going to do it. He's going to do it? I don't know. But in his body language, he's really trying to convince all the Guineans to support him to become as a president of Guinea.
We know what happened back in 2010, then 2015. Do you fear similar things might happen again?
It might be, but as you know, this time is the last time of Mr. Alpha Conde in power. I believe if he tries to change the constitution, and things will go the other way around, because I can see all the Guineans standing together, trying to fight that third mandate from Mr. Alpha Conde.
Mr. Alpha Conde used to be one of those people fighting for democracy in Guinea, trying to preach about democracy. Talking of what you mentioned about the third term thing, that is just a rumor. He's not made that clear yet. Is there any significance in that?
Yes, I believe, because there are so many of his ministers trying to corrupt people, to support them in that, to say they want another third term. I believe Mr. Alpha Conde is trying to still, as I said, corrupt the people to support him in that, but I don't think if the Guineans believe him anymore, he can't.
So what will be your message to all Guineans today and those who are in the UK and other parts of the world?
My message is going to be, I will ask all Guineans to unite. A part of the politics, to unite as one. Let them know politicians, they will come today and tomorrow they will be going. They will be gone. So I think before fighting each other, they need to unite to know what their dream will be tomorrow.
So alhamdulillah, this event has gone well, everyone's happy. So all what we're wishing for now is for this future leader to gain his position for the next year election 2020, so he can be the president of Guinea and president for all, to bring changes for all Guineans.
Do you trust him?
Of course I trust him. For the fact I know him for so long, and the way he has explained himself to people, I've seen much improvement, and I've seen more hope for the future.
From what you've seen today, his body language, do you think he's a leader?
Yeah, I think he's a leader, because I can see the charisma on him, and I can tell he's there, he's feeling the way he feels for his people, and struggling people are facing in Guinea, the corruption and all that, lack of employment, poverty. He wants to eradicate all that and unite all Guineans, bring all Guineans together, and stop all that tribalism, different of people, tribal culture, different ethnic diversities, or the way people think their high superiorities. He wants to bring all Guineans to the same level and create more job, employment, and stop poverty.
The event, basically, we saw the event is like, pass well, and we thinking about positive, yeah, by seeing like, the way how Céllou Diallo his speech, and give us more like, hope, and finger crossed 2020, we're gonna stand in for the whole Guinean community.
Talking of 2020, do you think El Hadji Céllou Diallo will be capable of standing in 2020? When I say capable of standing, I mean like he will be able to go all the way through?
Yes, we can. I'm not saying only Céllou Dalein he can, but as we both, the whole Guinean, yes, we can. Because we both, we see what's going on in Guinea right now. I think everyone is hard enough, and what the promise and stuff, nothing is work, road and all others. So we need someone to stand for the whole Guinean. But at the moment, the whole Guinean see and thinking will be Céllou Dalein Diallo to be the next president 2020, to make all our West Africa, even Africa, to be united. We can't talk just in Guinea, because by the way he talk, and like people trust him law, and he never make like a speech. But if you know, like reading people's mind or about knowledge, he don't say much. More likely he's got the fact what he think he's able to do it. But I think the old Guinean is what we need to hear, and is what we need to do in the future. To help for all our countries.
There are rumors that President Alpha Conde wants a third term. Do you think that's the case here?
Well, I think if Alpha Conde is something really I don't want to stand and talk about, because me, I'm more social, more than thinking is about political. But himself, he can't. If yesterday is something people thinking about, but now the reality is coming. And the fact everyone see and knows, he is not able to do it, to unite the whole Guinean. Because even like saying, well, by the word saying Manden Diallo or something, it's just more to divide it like the whole Guinean community. It's something we don't need to see fire in our country, and not giving like our children future, destroy their whole life. And ourselves now, we are very struggle, even say people we are come from Guinea or something, we need to stand and say no.
How dangerous is it if that constitution is changed?
Well, that is not to be dangerous on my personal opinion, because it's no one person, it's like own the country, it's we both. If I'm standing today saying, as a Gorko Susai, it's only me gonna be like the Gorko Susai, I'm not. As people have to be behind me, and we have to stand to say, never something gonna happen to make our children and our women and our brothers and sisters, every single day we see the one there. It's not to say you are the Susu, or you are the Mandinka, or you are the Forester, or you are the Kisi, you are Toma, you are the Baga. You are the same one blood, one nation as a Guinean. No even saying about Fula. I'm not talking about Fula, I'm talking in general. If we both stand, himself he's not able to open his mouth saying that word, because he's insulting our moms, our dads, our parents. It's something not able even to think twice. He's able to stand. If he stand, that means we let him to stand. So we don't need to.
And just a final one from me, but briefly, what would be your message to all Guineans today across the UK and back home?
Right. First of all, and as one standing for the whole Hamsa, and like Union Gorko Susai, even I'm really proud, and knowing now, and a lot of people they say, men or women, if yesterday we scared or thinking something, today we are not. So, just to tell every single one of the Guinean, we have to stand as a united. Never give your mind about the positive. We have to focus forward and thinking for the future. We have to be united to get this thing changed. By the way they want to destroy our country, it's not possible. We have to say no, because if something is not working, you give someone chance, 5 years, and 5 years plus is 10 years. It's not like you can say to me it's 10 days or 10 months. So that one enough is enough. No, we are not against myself. I'm not against who is the president. But I'm really proud saying this. Maybe people gonna be a little bit struggle or thinking something. Really proud of being Alpha Conde to be as the leader. So people is not able to united our Guinean, because the fact is was fighting for our country before him, Feba Muhammadu and Siraju Diallo. People think they can change the country, but we have good chance to give him the best chance to see if he's able to do it. But the world says he can't. No, because someone don't like him. He's one of our brothers in Guinea, but we had enough of him to be the leader.
So I would say I'm very, very proud today, because I've seen a lot of members of UFDG coming from all over the UK used to come together to listen to the president of UFDG, or president, Mr. Céllou Dalein Diallo, who in his speech did address a lot of issues that Guinea is facing today. So the main point is now since the president of Guinea, Alpha Condé, is trying to change the constitution for him to stay over, or for him to stay in the power, so everyone did understand now the real need to fight against that. So I could say I'm very, very proud, since everyone is the same level and everyone has got the same determination for that.
She mentioned there were hundreds of people here today. Many people turned up, and this is the second time your leader has visited the United Kingdom. Yeah. Were you expecting that many people?
I could say yeah, because we did work hard for that, right? I could say it's been like 3 months now. We've been working, used to inform, to pass the communication, the information, so we can get everyone from all over. So the communication did go well, so everyone was informed. Everyone was waiting actually for this day. That's why we had so many people that just come, to attend this meeting today.
Let's talk about your country here, Guinea. For those people who don't know about Guinea, give us an update on what's happening in there.
Okay, Guinea, first of all, to know, politically speaking, Guinea is going very, very bad now, because Alpha Condé, who is the current president, he is meant to finish his mandate in 2020. But what we're realizing is just like 1 year now till he finishes his mandate. He's just trying to change the constitution, as I said before. He's trying really to stay in the power again after 2020. So, which is something that the Constitution already spoke about it. The Constitution already stated that after 2 mandates he should resign, right? He should leave the power. So that's why nowadays the whole fight in Guinea is how to defend, how just to respect the Constitution, which says clearly after 2 mandates this current president has to leave the power. So that's why this showed the whole world like Guinea is now a point of like, a concern.
What you're talking about here, your president has not made it clear that he is intending to stand for a 3rd term. These are just rumors. Why are you focusing on these rumors?
Basically, the president himself, he did not speak. Let's say to say he is going to stay or he's going to. To change the constitution. But what we realize every day, there are people who are like just supporting him. Some are high-ranking people who are in the government who are really trying to speak, try to do campaign to change the new constitution. And we know how close these people are. So he's using corruption and violence, intimidating people, right, just to change the constitution. And whenever people try to resist against that, so they try just to arrest them or just to do violation against human rights, against these people who are speaking against it.
In your opinion, are you saying he's using tactics here, i.e. intimidating people and sending out people out there to say they support him, to give him the opportunity just to change the constitution?
Yes, that's right, because actually what they're trying to say, because of the freedom of speech, that they need to leave everyone express themselves. So what we realize is whenever these people are supporting the president to change the constitution, are like doing a protest or like a campaign in order to change the constitution, they're letting them, the army is letting them to do what they want. But if there is any opposition side who are like really resisting against that, who are like really addressing that issue, what the government is doing actually is just like to arrest them or to stop them just to express themselves. So there is no like this fair freedom of speech.
Let's come back to today's event.
Yeah.
How vital was today to make sure the Guinean people who live in the United Kingdom get to know what's your president planning for 2020?
It was very vital today because people did really listen to the message that the president was saying. And the main message was actually, firstly, just to try to get everyone to get united behind the UFDG in one point, and the other point, just to unite all Guineans, right? To overlook about what's going on in Guinea, because again, in terms of democracy, Guinea is going backward, right? So people in the diaspora need to know that what's really going in Guinea. That's one point. The other point, and the president did address this issue again, for the president really willing, to stay in the power, right? So now everyone is alert. Everyone knows really how urgent it is. Like everyone need really to join this fight. So in 2020, Guinea need to go into alternance and change really this new president who is there, who is not respecting any law.
What kind of a message do you think the people of Guinea or those people who are here today will take home?
they did take a very good message today because now everyone knows how important, how urgent it is, like really to come together and really to try to get united behind, especially the opposition leader, which is our President Céllou Diallo, and to help to fight once again against this new law that Alpha Condé want to change, the new constitution he want to impose to Guinea. And plus, it's always good to remember that since Alpha Condé is trying this, all Guineans, all the civil society did come together to have what we call Front National pour la Défense la Constitution, which means like coming together just to defend the National Front to defend the Constitution, right? So this is uniting all Guineans from all different political parties or organizations or syndicate. All are coming together behind this FNDC, right, to really try to resist and to oppose Alpha Condé.
There was a question from a member of the public today asking about what are the plans for the president, i.e. his priorities. And not only that, someone asked about rewinding back the cassette to 2010 in the general election and in 2015, how the election was conducted and when President Alpha Condé was declared the winner. So what will your president do to make sure this time the election is free and fair and there will be no repeat of what happened in 2010 or 2015?
I mean, this question is a very strategic question since, there are so many things the party and our president is working on. So what we can say, in one point, the party is really trying to firstly to win the election, because that's the first thing. We need to win the election. And the second thing is just to secure them, right? So in that side now, to secure them, we need to have so many strategies, like we need to develop and to discuss like this very internal thing, right? But he did reassure us that he really going to work on that, and he is doing so many strategies in order really this time to if he is elected, just to be the next president of Guinea. So in terms of priorities, he did tell us today, if he is elected, he will do three main priorities, because Guinea is really divided into ethnic groups, so he need to reconcile the whole population, the whole Guinean people. That's one thing. The second thing, he need to emphasize on the education, because education is very lack in Guinea. And he did say as well about the infrastructure, right? Guinea really is in need on that. And third thing is the agriculture. He will really emphasize on that to develop this 3 points in order for Guinea really to be an emerging country.
Looking at him, let's talk about charisma here. Does he look like a president?
Definitely, he's really ready. You can see that when Céllou Dalein is speaking, you see someone who is really ready to be the next president of Guinea in terms of knowledge, in terms of engagement, in terms of really well-being. He's really ready to be the next president of Guinea.
So what will be your message here today to all the people that were here today and those who were back home, who were intending of coming but did not have the time to come?
Yeah, I would say to everyone really to join UFDG, right? Because this is the main opposition party today, who is fighting for so many values, right? So a party which is fighting, for human rights, for democracy in Guinea, right? So, but what is going on now in Guinea goes beyond a political issue, because again, the democracy is really going very bad, because Alpha Condé, once again, he's not accepting this rule of democracy, which is the choice of the people, right? So if people cannot choose their leader, it's really a big concern. So that's why the message will be everyone to join this fight, everyone to join the FNDC, so we can really this time change Guinea and allow people really to choose the president that they're really willing to rule their country. And I believe that Céllou Diallo will be the right man for that.
Well, Mr. Condé is not here to defend himself, but let's talk about the EFDG here as well. There are allegations from so many people as well, Guineans, who always say the EFDG is a party that is causing the problems in Guinea, i.e. they always call for demonstrations, they're not giving the president the opportunity in order to rule the country the way it should be. What's your take on that?
I mean, that's been always what the ruling party is saying, because first we have to understand, in 2010, as you reminded before, UFDG came first Céllou Dalein was the first between the 24 candidates, right? He was the first with 44% the whole country after the election, right? But it took like 4 months before they went for the second round. That's where the government that was in place with the military rulers, that's where they did change everything. So to give the power to Alpha Condé, right? So since then, UFDG and the President Céllou became automatically the main opposition leader. So they've been always fighting, they've been always resisting against the government and the Alpha Condé power. So automatically they became like the first enemy. So that's how it is. And by looking at the elections that have been taking place in Guinea, always UFDG coming first, right? Because we did have the legislative election, we did have the local elections, and all these elections, UFDG been doing very, very well because UFDG been beating the RPG, which is the political party of Alpha Condé. So of course, this will be like the main enemy of Alpha Condé and his government.
Just a final one from me, but briefly. Do you think the UFDG party is a party that is ready to be in government? And also, when your party gets into power, what have you got in place to make sure you are not going to do the same thing that as your allegation to Mr. Alpha Condé is doing?
I mean, first thing, yes, UFDG is a party which is very ready to rule Guinea because if you look at all political parties who are in the opposition side who are really willing to take the power in Guinea, UFDG is the main party which is really ready because UFDG been represented all over. In Guinea, if you look at Guinea, the whole country, we have the party who is represented everywhere. The party got so many like human resources, people are really dedicated, people are really willing and want really to do the job. So, and plus we got a very big leader, which is Céllou Diallo, who is really ready for the job. So I could say UFDG is just waiting for everything to be transparent. If like election being transparent, definitely UFDG will be the winner because the people is behind this party, the people are really behind the leader, Céllou Diallo.
Well, that's it for tonight. Until next week, thank you for watching. I'm Diallo, and that was African Voices. Have a good night.